Hey David, going to quickly run through how you can create a new grid and assign what shows up inside of it. So we'll just go into the grid over here on the left-hand side of the dashboard. Click on Create a New Grid. So this pops up, you'll name your grid. So let's call this like a featured, we'll do a weekly featured. Okay, it has a grid ID. So let's save that. And then you go into your source. This is going to say, well, what is it going to pull from? Is it going to pull from YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, different feeds, or a post type? So for most of the stuff you'll be doing is a post type. If you're pulling from Instagram, you can pull from user IDs in there. So this is where we can actually put an Instagram grid onto a user's profile and install that. I'll show that to you in another video. But we'll go here and go posts, enter the number of items you'd like to load inside of the grid. So if this one we were going to do, 7 for the week is kind of messed up because it's not going to make our grid even. So let's make it like 8. And then you have post types. What types of posts is it going to bring in? So you can select, is it going to be pages, submissions, transactions, refunds. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Obviously, you're not going to use most of those, but we'll use listings. And then published. Then you can select taxonomies here. So if you wanted to show, what do we call these? Weekly featured. We'd actually have to create a new category in our listings called featured. So for the meantime, let's just pretend it's these American traditionals. Authors and filters. That's if you want to just sort by specific authors. I mean, this gets really in depth. You can order, so if you want newest first, or oldest first, you can change that up. You don't need to do anything with these meta keys and things like that. So once that's done, let's go ahead and save that setting. Go back up to the top. Then you got your media. So you can set a default image, which is like a placeholder image if somebody doesn't upload a cover photo. Resize and crop images uploaded on the fly. Don't work with CDM image hosting. Image sizes. I like to keep them at original size, so you won't need to mess with that. This allows people to, if you want videos and things like that to show in there, you can do that as well. You can also enable a slideshow in each item. So that means if a certain listing has their featured image as well as gallery images, it can slide through. So save those settings. And then you've got the grid options. What's going on with this? For some reason, this window's showing up. Okay, so you can do it in a grid. You can see that those are 3 by 3 or whatever you set it up as, but they're going to be even. Masonry is going to adjust the length of the descriptions and things like that and create it like a brick layout. And then justified will justify it all by height. And then if the width is off, then it'll, mess with that. So square, let's start with the square one. 1:1 aspect ratio. Force items to have the same size. All right, save that section. Filter and sort. This is where you can just really narrow down different filterable options. And this is if you just had like search all artists, you could create, do you want to search by name? Do you want to search by, how you want it to search if you were going to have a category search bar. So we're not going to do much of sorting on most of the time we're adding these grids. Different pagination types. Do you want to have a page number at the bottom or previous and next buttons? Here's your layout options. This is where you could drag a filter in if you wanted a filter. You can center align it. So there's a lot of cool stuff that you can do in here. Then your skins, these are your different color overlays. So you can see as you hover over this, it's a like or make a comment. We've been using this one recently. So just different types of hovers, and there's all kinds. You just keep going next. That one's kind of cool. Content background color. Select the color scheme for the text content. Navigation style. Here's all your colors and things that you can adjust along that line. Save this. Animations, how do you want the images to show up when the page loads? And then loading in Ajax, load more, make it click, or you can make it scroll. So there's just, all kinds of settings in here. So now let's go back to our page that we created that was called Grid Demo. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assign a different grid here. So if we just edit the grid, and then we can select our one that we just created there, weekly featured. Now it's going to show that grid within this page. Go ahead and view it once it's done uploading here. So why that's not looking good is half of these don't have featured images behind them like that one does. So we could go back to the grid. If we change the background color of the grid, those will show up, or you can add cover photos into those users. So let's go into the grid. I'm going to edit the weekly featured. I think it was in skins, content background color. We'll make it purple. It should have things show up. And save that. I'm not really uploading it. But it's because this guy doesn't have a featured listing or a featured image, excuse me. So if we go in here and add it, set a featured image, just grab one of these fake profile ones. So now, the profile image will show up and now has this cool hover. So then we can go in and change any of the details and, different skins and stuff like that. So, and then you can refer to the other video of how to add a custom grid to a different page. Cool, thank you. And let me know if you have any other questions around using the grid.